All right, hey, what's going on? What I'm gonna do basically, like the title says, is I'm going to teach you how to build a niche website. This is gonna involve no content writing, no content purchasing, or anything like that. A lot of niche websites. If you don't know what a niche website is, it's basically a website that is focused on maybe one or two primary keywords. Okay, something like pinknailpolish.com or something like that, where you're just focusing on, say, pink nail polish. Okay. Um, Google has kind of slapped those websites down because most of them were very bad quality, and meaning that the content just wasn't very good. I mean, if you have a website called pinknailpolish.com, how good of content can you possibly have with that? So the problem with niche websites is that basically, it's hard to keep it filled with good content. But the way that I do it and my niche websites are really nothing more than just video sites. Okay. I find a niche that I think people are interested in, and I do that just by simply going to YouTube and looking at the videos that have millions of views, and then you just basically build a website around those videos or around that niche. YouTube, if you didn't know, is owned by Google, so I mean, it's just a win-win for everybody. Okay. You get content. You don't have to write. You don't have to buy it. The sites auto-populate by themselves. It takes a little bit of maintenance because, sometimes you might get the wrong type of video in there. So every once in a while, you got to kind of look. But there's little tweaks and things that I could show you. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do this step by step in this video. Okay. I recorded the video earlier, and now I'm going to go and try to voice over it. And I apologize for this microphone right here, okay? I had this little lapel setup that I was going to use, and that didn't work out right. So kind of last minute, I just grabbed this Guitar Hero mic. Since I never play Guitar Hero anymore, I figured I might as well use it for this. But next time I'll go ahead and get me maybe a little mic stand, because this mic actually isn't that bad. But it actually really isn't that great either, because I got to hold it right up to my doggone mouth in order to hear anything. But with that, just kick back, relax, and watch how I do this, okay? And if you have any questions, make sure that you leave a comment and come check me out at Smartdiversifiedincome.com. All right, guys, so I'm going to get into. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out what the heck I'm going to make this site about. Originally, I was going to make the site about impersonation videos. So I went to the Google AdWords tool to look up how many searches impersonation videos get, because I always think that they're funny. So I figured, hey, that might be something other people think are funny too, and make a impersonationvideos.com or something like that. So I log in, and I don't use AdWords without logging in, because the searches aren't the same. And as you see, I took it off of broad and put on an exact match, so that I get the exact amount, or as close to the exact amount of searches that are actually received. Okay. And then I'm looking at impersonation videos. I'm like, yeah, no, less than 10 a month. So I'm kind of looking here, and I see a bunch of stuff, funny videos, funny viral videos, and things like that. And you can see that the competition is low, which really doesn't matter too much with these, because actually I prefer for the competition to be high sometimes, because when you're dealing with Google AdSense, the higher it says here, the higher the competition is, the more advertisers are going to be available to you. So I just found some keywords. Obviously, impersonation videos isn't going to work, so I go over to GoDaddy and I type in the keywords. Like I said, I did this. I'm just doing a voice over here, so I'm trying to remember what the heck I was doing. Funny viral videos. Okay, so that was the first one I was going to see about going with that, and that was already taken. The .net was available, and that is the next best thing. But I don't jump the gun yet, and I take a look at some more stuff. Put that one on the back burner. Funnyviralvideos.net. That could be a good website. And just to let you know, I didn't buy it, and I don't plan on buying it. So if you guys want to make a website, funnyviralvideos.com, go for it. So I saw funny pranks videos, and that's the way that it was searched. So that's the way that I'm going to spell it: funny pranks videos. And that is also not available unless you want to go to the auction. But the .net is available. Now, I kind of like funny pranks videos better than funny viral videos because pranks is more niched down. Obviously, funny viral videos, that could be anything from a baby doing the cha-cha slide to a dog burping, whatever. But with funny pranks videos, basically that's a niche where people are looking for pranks. And see another one here, funny videos website. And that's also very general, not bad, but it also wasn't available as a .com. So to make a long story short, yeah, I end up going with funnypranksvideos.com or .net. Okay. So go ahead and type that in there, and I'm having a little bit of a brain fart trying to figure out exactly, make sure that I spelt it right, because you don't want to buy the domain name and spell it wrong, because that kind of defeats the purpose of doing your keyword research. So yeah, I spelt it right. And I'm going to go ahead and buy the .net because the .com is not available. Now, like I said, I'm not really too concerned about the competition. So normally at this point, you can go ahead and do a Google search to see what comes up for funny pranks videos and see what your competition is. But, I don't really care, to be totally honest with you. I'm not going to try to send a bunch of backlinks to the site. Really, I'm just going to get searches and visitors from my site through all the long tail keywords that this produces. I've done it before, and it works. It works. So I forgot to log in, so I'm logging in so that I can purchase this thing here. Oh man, I need to block out a lot of this private information. Let me make sure that I do that before posting this up on the web. All right, so now I just bought the domain name off of GoDaddy. Easy, right? Okay. So now what I got to do is I got to go to my HostGator account and get it all set up onto an actual website. The first thing I do is I go to my domain names, and I'm going to set up the name servers. Okay. I have to point the name servers to HostGator. I don't host my websites on GoDaddy. I use HostGator. $10 a month, and I can host as many websites as I want. As you can see, I have a lot of different sites here, and they're all hosted through HostGator. So I'm looking for funny pranks videos, and it's not available yet. Sometimes it takes about 5 minutes for it actually to show up. So in the meantime, I go on over to HostGator.com, and I am going to set up the name service. And I'm moving kind of fast here, so I'm trying to keep up with myself. So go to the C panel, and I log in, and I got my password wrong because I'm a retard and I wasn't paying attention. So I try it again, and I remember that it's a different password. Cool, I'm in. Woohoo! All right. So now the first thing to do when setting up a new website after you've purchased it is you go to add on domains, and go ahead, Jesse, scroll on down. Right there, I see it. Yep. There we go. All right, so add on domains, and just type in basically the domain name, which is pranksvideos.net. Okay. And then I go down to password, and everything else just automatically populates. And then I put in my favorite password and put it in again, and add domain, and boom, it's in there. All right, so I just added the domain that I just purchased from GoDaddy, and I just added it to my HostGator. All right, but my name servers are still not pointed yet. Okay, so I go back, click a refresh just to see if the website is now loaded, and what do you know? Boom, right there. So it didn't take too long at all. So let's go ahead and set up our name servers. Go back over to HostGator, scroll down on the left-hand side towards the bottom, you will see name servers. There's 2 of them, okay? They're both almost identical, except one is one digit high, the number is one digit higher than the last one. So I just copy the very first one, go back over to the domain, and on down there it says set name servers. So I'm going to click that. See, I'm psychic. I knew what I was going to do before I even did it. You like that? All right. Then I go and click that one. I have specific name servers. Take that out, paste what I just did or what I just copied, paste it again, and change that number and add a digit to it. So now I have both of my name servers there, and they are now pointing to HostGator. Okay. And at this point, I'm done. I am done with GoDaddy. So I can go and get out of there and come on back to HostGator. So now I got to put WordPress onto the site. And I just click on Quick Install, click on WordPress. I mean, it's just so easy. Click on Continue and scroll to find funnypranksvideos.net. Boom. For this, all I really do is I just put in my email address and I put in my admin username. All right. It's going to give you an email, or it's going to give you a password automatically. Okay. So I just put in my email address, just my personal one that I want to get emails to. And I put admin. I use admin for every one of my websites because I don't want to have to remember a different username for all these websites. So boom, look at that. It's done. I copy the password because that's a long ass complicated password that they give you. Okay. Copy the password and I go over to the website, the back office, copy that password in there. And the very first thing I do is I go and I change my password. All right. But I got derailed here because it said that WordPress needed an update. So I figured I might as well go ahead and just update that real quick while I'm there. So I update that. Then I go over to change the user password so that it's something that I can actually remember. And just simply go over to users, click on your profile, and just type in the password. No, don't paste in the old password. Type in the new password. That's right. Good boy. All right, and I did that, and that's done. So now my password is updated and loaded. All right, so now whenever I want to log in, I already know that it's admin and it's my password. Okay. So now I got to get my plugins over. And I use FileZilla. It's the easiest way. It's an FTP server, and basically it just allows you to access the index and just the root files of your website without actually logging in. You can do it from your computer with the software. I use FileZilla, and I had to do an update. So I was waiting for this update to get done, and I'm going to copy all of my plugins that I normally use. I have them saved onto my actual hard drive on my computer. So instead of going one by one and uploading and finding and uploading all these plugins, I just use the FTP, use FileZilla, go to my website that I just created, as you just saw. Click on it, go to WP Content, Plugins, and then I go over, copy all of my plugins, and then drag and drop. I was trying to figure out which ones I wanted. I was like, forget it. I'll just go ahead and drag them all and put them all up in there. And that is much faster than going through one by one and trying to install every plugin, especially if you do the same thing over and over again and you know what plugins you already want. So, and also understand that this video is very fast and it's basically for demonstrating purposes only. Getting tongue-tied here, sorry. Normally I put a lot more time and care into what I'm doing. So, all right, so now I'm going to install a theme. I don't use the 2011 theme. I actually like the Path theme, P-A-T-H. If you know anything about me, you know that I like to save money. Obviously, I'm using a Guitar Hero microphone to use this. It's not that money is really a big problem. It's just that I don't like to spend money if I don't have to. I like to make money, not spend money, you know? So, but if I can find a really good theme that I think is better than this free one here, which I'm sure are out there, I just really haven't had much time. I found this, I liked it, and it's been working for me. I don't use it on every site, just normally my tube sites, okay, my niche video sites. I don't use it on my actual, my bigger sites, my non-video sites. All right, I don't use it at Smartdiversifiedincome.com. All right, so I got the path theme, and I'm going to go ahead and just customize it. And this is really, really quite simple. What is that? Oh, I'm kind of just looking around real quick trying to figure out what I'm doing. All right, got to change the site title. I don't want it to say just another WordPress site. Got to take that out of there, and I just simply type in funnypranksvideos.net. Okay. If you want an image to show up like a logo, then the title really is not going to matter, because it's not going to show. The title is only going to show if you don't have an image there. So right now you see that it has the path image there, and my title won't show. So I'm just sitting here kind of struggling to figure out a tagline. And I'm thinking, trying to think of something clever, and I don't think of anything, which is really not that important. I decide, hey, it doesn't matter. So kind of get out of that, and I change the layout of it. I've played with all these layouts. I play with one column. I play with the main thing in the middle. But at the end of the day, I like to go with the 3-column right. Okay, and that puts the videos to the very right, and it puts 2 sidebars to the left. And I just found that the clicks are much better when you do it that way. You can kind of play with it yourself, obviously. I don't have to tell you that. That's just what I do. So I go over to the image, and I remove that path image. So now the title that I just wrote will now display instead of that path image. Okay. And if, like I said, if you want to make your own logo, you can put that up there so that your own logo displays. I go over to post, and I delete that post, just that generic post that comes with WordPress. I want to get that out of there. Then I go to page, and I delete that generic page that goes over to WordPress too. Now with every site, I don't do it in here. I don't show you, but I can show you later. I set up a privacy policy page, a contact me page, and a disclaimer page sometimes. But the privacy policy is necessary for Google search. Okay, it's one of those things you gotta have. All right, so I take a look at it, and it looks like a very blank website. All right, so what I gotta do is I gotta get some content on here. All right, so what am I doing? Trying to look, and I go to AdSense. All right, I'm gonna put some ads in there because the FTP, the plugins are still transferring over. Okay, so I'm gonna go, and I'm going to create some ads that I'm going to place into the site. All right, but first I gotta fidget around and kind of decide really what I'm doing. All right, got to decide what my purpose here is on this planet. All right, so yeah, click on my ads and go to new ad unit. And a lot of times what I do is, in this video here, I do a leaderboard, and I put the leaderboard at the very top of every page. Okay, this actually doesn't work as good as just using I think it's 368 by 2 something like that, but it's the biggest rectangle that AdSense has, and putting 2 of those side by side instead of a leaderboard tends to work actually better, I think. I'm just trying to use a leaderboard here just to try out something new, but if you guys want to give it a try, use 2 of the big rectangle boxes. And okay, what I'm doing here is I'm changing the color. I used image and text, and I changed the colors to red and black because the links on the actual page are going to be red. So I want the links to match the the AdSense links to match. See, as you can see, they're red. The red links, I want them to all kind of match, so it kind of look like it kind of just flows together. I find the click-through rate is better when you do that. You get more clicks. But like I said, yeah, sometimes I use two big boxes instead of this rectangle, and I go over to edit, appearance, and editor, and I go over to the header, and this is where I place that AdSense code. Okay, and like I said, I'm placing the leader code in there, and again, I'm sitting here brainstorming, trying to remember exactly where I put it. All right, now I could just open up one of my other sites and see where I put it, but I didn't really feel like doing that. So I'm going to sit here and brainstorm for a minute while I figure it out, but eventually I figure it out. It comes back to me. All right, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it right there above that bottom line right there. Go ahead, put it in there. Don't be scared. Boom, it's in there. Now you also have to center it. And basically centering is just the left bracket, type the word center, close up with the right bracket. And then at the very end, left bracket, backslash, center, and right bracket. And now it'll be centered. Alrighty. So now I got the leaderboard. It's going to show up right underneath the header of every page. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to make a box. And I'm going to just put that one in the side widget. When I do that, I just kind of like to name them exactly what it is. And then I make the channel for each one. That way, when I do get a click on it, I know exactly where that click came from. All right. I just put like big box or leader or whatever because I know exactly where I put the leader. If you want to try different stuff out, like say you want to put a big box, and you want to put it in the sidebar, you might put big box sidebar. Or if you want to put the big box in the header, you might put big box header. But for the most part, I know exactly where I put each type of block. So I don't have to specify exactly the location. I just specify the name. All right, so I made it. As you see, I made the text red again so that it all matches. And I go into the secondary sidebar, put a text block in there because you have two sidebars. And I put that Google AdSense code. All right. The primary sidebar will be like the comments and all that stuff as you see right there, navigation, things like that. And the other one will be your AdSense block. And it kind of, I'm not going to say confuses them, but it all, like I said, it all looks the same. So you get better clicks that way. All right. So now all of my plugins are good and they're loaded. I'm just going to go ahead and update all of them. Boom, boom, boom. All right, they're all updated. Now, like I said, I just did the basics here just to show you guys what I'm doing. I take more time and care when I do it in practice. But I go to my video blog, my video sources. Why did I go to my video sources? I don't know because I haven't even added anything yet. So I say, no, wait, yeah, let me set up the settings first, okay? And this is the settings area here. And as you see, there's a whole bunch of different tube themes that you can go with, but they're paid themes. And I'm a cheap butt, so I don't go with those for now. I may go with one later. It all depends. All right. But yeah, this is the back area here, and I don't even think I made any changes yet. And I go over to auto update settings, and here you can just set how often you want it to update. Right now I have it on daily, but you can pick, hourly, twice daily, however fast you want it. But just know that the more you do it, the more draw that it's going to have on your server. Okay, you can slow things down. So I try not to do it. I try to do it daily, sometimes even weekly, and I'll show you why, and how you can have it always looking like you have new content. So copy thumbnails. I say no. I don't want to copy the thumbnails because I don't want all those pictures to be saved on my hard drive. All right, which is a great thing. So you can put no to copy thumbnails, and that way, this is really just stress-free. There's no load on your server, and it's just all just coming from YouTube. Okay, so now I'm going to add a video. YouTube keywords, category. I put any category. You can like pick comedy or whatever you want. Language. I was going to go with just English, but I figured why not put them all in there. And here I type in Chinese pranks. Again, because I'm a retard and I remember I used to love watching Chinese pranks. But what I later find out, as you're going to see, is that it's not Chinese pranks that I liked. It's Japanese pranks that I like. But as you see, I put a dash between Chinese and pranks because if you just put Chinese and then you put a space pranks, you're going to get all kind of stuff. You're not going to get Chinese pranks. You're going to get probably Chinese food, Chinese lessons. Then you get pranks as well. But that Chinese is just going to come up all by itself. All right. As a search. So I put a dash so that they know that I want Chinese and pranks. Okay. And I put add YouTube comments because I just like having comments there. And it looks like people have been visiting my site and commenting when it's really just the comments from YouTube. So I do that and I go ahead and I update it. The category is uncategorized. So I got to go back in there and make sure I change the categories. But as you see, boom, real quick, I got it set to grab 5. and it grabbed them. So let's go take a look at those posts and what they were. So I go and I refresh, and boom, look. Now, when AdSense the code kicks in, the AdSense code will fill in that blank spot to the left, and there'll be the leaderboard on top. So I click on one of them, and that's how it works. And then people come and they play it, and there's recent articles and all that good stuff, and it's just a tube site. And all I did was, install a plugin and grab some YouTube videos based off of a couple keywords. All right, so I'm gonna add a bunch more videos so that I can show you a trick here. The thing about these video sites is that when people come to your page, and like I said, I don't like to have to update them every single day because it does draw down on your server, and especially if you have a bunch of video sites, you don't want your HostGator account server constantly searching for videos. So I do it sometimes even once a week, but there's a code that I put in there that makes it look like the videos are new and they're fresh. And I'll show you what that code is in a minute here, and I'll make sure that I put that code in the notes if you go back and you check out the post on this video. All right, it's going to be over at Smartdiversifiedincome.com. All right, so I make another category called pranks videos, or prank videos. Okay, and I just create the slug, funny prank videos or something like that. Can't remember quite what I put in there. Prank videos. Okay, just prank videos, whatever. All right, and I do that. So now I got another category. That's really the only categories that I'm really gonna need for now. But I mean, you can put tons of categories. You can make that scary maze game category. You can make just whatever type of pranks you want. You can have just tons of categories. All right, so I go in here and I look up different pranks to see what searches they go for. So I type in funny pranks. I just want to see what comes up with funny pranks. And I make sure that when I type in funny pranks, that funny pranks actually comes up. You don't want to type in a search term and then that's not what comes up. So it looks like pretty much everything that comes up for funny pranks is actually a funny prank, which is good. So that I'm not populating my website with things that are just totally irrelevant. All right, so I type in funny dash pranks. Don't want to put in just funny by itself or funny space pranks, because you could come with all kind of funny stuff, and then it's not gonna be a niche site anymore. All right, it's just gonna be funny stuff mixed in with pranks, and that's not what we want, do we? No. All right. So grab YouTube comments, update it. You can do it every day if you want to. I just randomly pick some days, select the category. Like I said, there's really no rhyme or reason. I'm just going fast just to get through this so that you guys can see what I'm doing. Add the video source and go back to my sources and go ahead and update that to see what it brings up. Make sure that it brings up the right stuff. Boom, 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 boom. Gives me 5 videos at a time. I don't like to really do more than 5 because, like I said, don't want to draw down on the server. And they all look good. They're all funny pranks. But what I find out is that they're Japanese pranks. I'm like, what? Oh, yeah, it is Japanese, isn't it? Oh, man. I'm half Korean myself, so you can't really call me a racist because, I'm half Asian. And it's not that, Chinese and Japanese are the same thing, because they're not. It's just that I was having a dumb moment. So I go back and then I change it to Japanese pranks, because that's the funny stuff. The Chinese people aren't that funny. I mean, they make great iPhones and Apple's computers that I'm using now, but as far as making prank videos, the Japanese have a lock on that. Those guys are hilarious. So I changed it to Japanese pranks. Select both of them, or update it. Yeah, select both of them, and now I get 10. So when you select both of them, you get 10. Now, if I had like 10 sources and I select them all and I updated it, then 5 times 10, you'll get 50 videos. So you can see how fast and easy it is to populate it. So I do it again. So boom, now I got 10 more videos. So you see how quick and easy you can get content onto your website, relevant niche content. Go ahead and refresh it. Boom, Japanese pranks and all kind of chat roulette prank, whatever that is. I might have to go back and watch that one. But the site is populated. The pictures are showing. My AdSense hasn't showed up yet, but it will. And that's really it. So now the code, I got to save to my notepad, and it's just a randomized code. I copy that code, and basically what it does is it randomizes the post. So whenever a new user comes and looks, it's going to be different. It's never going to be the same post on top that were there before. So I go back to editor, and I go over to main index. Okay, main index. You scroll down, and you look for PHP if have post, and you want to put the code right there, right under it, before it says while have post. You just paste it in there, you save it, and boom. Now, whenever you go to the page, it's going to be random. It's going to be a random post on top. Watch. Refreshed, and nothing happens. You know why nothing happened? Because I have the cache on, and I realized that. So I go back and I go to install plugins, and I deactivate the cache. It's WP Super Cache, and as you can see, that thing is very super because it did not let me refresh a doggone thing. So I took that off, make sure I don't have any more cache plugins in there, and I refresh. And boom, look, it changed, and it changed again. Now, the more you have, the better randomizing it'll do. But right now, it only has like maybe 20 or 30 to random to choose from, to swap around from. But that's about it. So as you can see, within a short period of time, you can have thousands and thousands of videos. Okay, and those are all those long-term keywords that you can have. But this is it, guys. If you liked it, just give me a thumbs up. Go over to my website,